and another effective one. Matthew breaks a tackle, breaks another, gets a block. There are no flags and the race is on. And Matthew goes 90.
Burrow with the snap. Here comes the blitz. Burrow steps away from it, throws, catch made! Justin Jefferson has it at the 38, racing down the far line, sideline, 10-5, touchdown, Tigers!
Another play fake by Burrow, and a deep strike, and an open receiver, Jamar Chase, another touchdown!
Daniels pulls it, takes it himself, he's got the sideline! Jane Daniels off to the races! And a bang back inside, he takes it to the house! 85 yards for Daniel!
Go ahead and say it, Ed.
Go Tigers!
Welcome in to the world's greatest podcast. This here is the Gold Standard Podcast where we love purple, but it is all gold, baby. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you don't miss any upcoming podcasts. Today, I got a bit of a fun one for you. It's a little bit of a slow cycle right now because we're waiting on the transfer portal to open on the 2nd of January, and my God, it's going to be a frenzy when it opens. I expect LSU to be very aggressive. Most quarterbacks that are worth their salt is going to have LSU's name involved. When you see that little ticker come out, when you see that little whatever it may be come out and it says all the schools, LSU is going to be on all of them, I assure you. I expect the Tigers to be very, very, very aggressive in the portal, and it's going to be fun to cover. But you're going to miss it if you ain't subscribed. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You like, you share, you jump in them comments and let me know what you're feeling and turn on your notifications. Now, today we are having a bit of fun. I said to myself, Self said, what? What could I do that would be sort of like a change of pace, just something fun, just kind of having fun with LSU, with the brand, with the history of the school? So I sat down and I came up with my all-time teams starting in the year 2000. I did 2000 because that's just a benchmark for me. Anything before that, I'm not going to have any clue about what's going on as far as me watching it with my own eyes in person. 2000s is more of a good benchmark for me where I can really say I watched a lot of these players. So that's what I used. So I'm going to take every LSU roster from 2000 up till now. And the fun thing that I'm doing is I'm picking players, not just players, but I'm picking specific seasons for players. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you guys jump down in the comments. Let me know what I got wrong. Let me know who's missing. And making lists like this is always fun, and it's always tough because it's got to be somebody left off. So there's going to be a lot of great, amazing Tigers that didn't make my list, and this is my list, so it's subjective. I'd like to see you get down there and just drop your list. Today we're going to do the offense. So I did a first team, a second team, and just a handful of honorable mentions. So you don't have to put your first and second team down there. Maybe just put your first team down in the comments and let me know who you would pick on your all-time Tiger team. Okay? All right, so with that, let's get it. Like I said, I spent a couple of days putting this list together. So we'll start with the honorable mentions. So first up, I only got 3 honorable mentions because I could have gone all day on offense, especially on defense. It was a lot tougher on defense with the honorable mentions because there were so many guys that got left off that are All-Americans, that are legendary Tiger players, and this is just how the cookie crumbles. So don't get mad at me. This gets to LSU players and you're not on here, don't get mad at me. This is just my opinion. It's subjective. Everybody who puts on the purple and gold, I respect, and you're a great Tigers, okay? So my first honorable mention is going to be center, 2019 Lloyd Cushenberry. And centers always get kind of forgotten about because it isn't a sexy position, but Lloyd was on the money that year. He was a very good center. He was always very smart coming out. I can remember how they just raved about his smarts and how they just talked about how far ahead he would be and how advanced he would be, and it lived true. Lord went on to be drafted in the NFL, and I know he played with Denver and played with Tennessee. I'm not sure where he is now, but he was either a 3rd or 4th round pick. So, but 2019 Lloyd Cushenberry is going to be my first honorable mention. My next honorable mention is going to be 2016 Will Clapp, and it was very hard to leave Will Clapp off this list. Had very good season in 2016 that I forgot about until I got to doing the research. And I was like, man, Will Clapp was that good that year? Yeah, he was very good in 2016. If you don't remember Will Clapp in 2016, please go back, do some research, let me know what you think. But I think Will Clapp deserves to at least be mentioned. All right, and my last honorable mention before we get into the second team, and then we'll do the first team last. 2019 Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This was hard. It was hard not having Clyde on the second team. I'm sure you know who's on the first team. Hint, hint. I don't know if you can see that, but the second team running back position was one of the hardest ones, and the first team third wide receiver for me was the hardest ones. So in 2019, Clyde had 1,414 rushing yards with 16 touchdowns, and he added 55 receptions for 453 yards and a touchdown. He was magnificent in that Alabama game. He just took it over, went on to play with the Kansas City Chiefs, was drafted in the 1st round, and he's back there now. So magnificent year in 2019 from Clyde. He was a driving force that kind of gets left out because everybody talks about Joe, everybody talks about Jamar, everybody talks about Justin, but Clyde was just as good as those guys at his position that year. All right, so second team. We're going to do the second team just like I did with Clyde. Lineman is going to be a little bit tougher. Most of these guys that are on my list for offensive linemen either were All-Americans or All-SEC. But the skill positions is a little bit easier for me to just regurgitate out stats. So you'll hear stats for the quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. You won't hear any stats for their offensive linemen. All right, so quarterback for my second team. This one wasn't tough for me. Both quarterbacks, Heisman quarterbacks. So you already know who I'm talking about. But 2023 Jaden Daniels is going to be my second team quarterback. Jaden that year went 236 of 327 for a 72.6 completion percentage. He threw for 3,800 yards, 3,812 yards, 40 touchdowns, and then added another 1,134 on the ground and another 10 touchdowns. Just a magical season by Jaden Daniels. Went on to play with the Redskins and get to the NFC Championship game in his rookie year. I was there in the Florida game. We were there the Ole Miss game. Man, he just took over that Florida game. As far as I've seen in college, that was one of the greatest performances. I've seen just one guy just amassing for 500 yards of total offense by itself against an SEC opponent. Just a magical season. And he went on to win the Heisman that year, obviously. All right, running back. This is where my decision was between Clyde or this guy. And I went because I just remember watching this guy, and he was so underrated. Doesn't get talked about a lot, but he had a really great year that year. That 2013 offense was very good. And shout out Zach Mettenberger, who didn't make my honorable mentions, but we know why those first two quarterbacks. But he had a very good year in 2013 too. But I'm going 2013, Jeremy Hill, who had 203 rushes for 1,401 yards and 16 touchdowns. I remember the South Carolina game to this day. Jeremy was a tough, quick, shifty, fast runner. I don't know if we've had anybody like Jeremy since he left. I mean, he was a bigger back, but he had that Arian Foster thing where he was so smooth, so shifty, but he could bring a load when he got in the hole. So awesome season by Jeremy Hill there. He's my second team running back. All right, wide receiver. We know we are wide receiver U and DBU, and those were obviously the two hardest positions to get nailed down. For my offenses, I'm running 11 personnel, which means one back, one tight end, and I've got 3 receivers on the field, okay? And all this is just, let's just say, under 2025 rules, okay? So we're running the spread. The first receiver up, guy who almost made my first team, 2001 Josh Reed. Guys, Josh Reed had a monster season in 2001. He had 94 receptions, 1,740 yards, and 7 touchdowns in 2001 LSU. I mean, crazy, crazy numbers that he put up there. Just a magical season. He was the all-time yards leader at LSU for receiving yards until Malik Neighbors broke his record. You'll hear his name later. But just an amazing season. It was so hard for me not to put him on the first team. He won the Biletnikoff that year. He was a first-team All-American, obviously first-team All-SEC. He won all the awards. It was so hard for me to keep him off their first team. All right. Wide receiver number 2 is going to be Odell Beckham Jr. from 2013, who had 59 receptions for 1,152 yards, 8 touchdowns, and he added another additional 1,000 yards in return yardage. Just a crazy year by Odell. I mean, go look up the highlights of Odell Beckham in 2013. Before Jarvis, I mean, not before Jarvis, but with Jarvis, but before Jamar and Justin and Malik Neighbors became kind of like the notable wide receivers, Odell was that guy. Odell was them before they arrived. He was popular. He was uber great. He went on to be magnificent in his first few years in the league with the Giants before he got hurt. But I remember those OBJ years, and 2013 was a special season from Odell Beckham Jr. Go look up those highlights from that season. All right, wide receiver 3 is going to be his crime partner, 2013 Jarvis Landry, who had 77 receptions for 1,193 yards and 10 touchdowns. I don't know if this was the year, but I'm pretty positive. I remember the Arkansas catch, one of the greatest catches I've still ever seen to this day. It sticks in my head. Jarvis was such a dog on third downs. Zach was going to him. It kind of reminds me of the relationship that Joe and Justin had on third downs, third and long, third and medium. He was going to Jarvis. And Jarvis had some of the toughest hands that I've seen. He was so reliable, and he was such a great wide receiver. And he was just a dog, man. All right, so my tight end is going to be 2019 Thaddeus Moss. Thaddeus had 45 receptions for 570 yards and 4 touchdowns that year. Another unsung hero. Like I said, people don't really understand how awesome that unit was. All the credit always goes to Joe, Justin, and Jamar. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was amazing that year. Thaddeus Moss was amazing that year. Guess what else? Terrace Marshall was amazing that year, and he was the third receiver on the team. I mean, that just was a stacked team, and shame on whoever put out that article recently who tried to say 2019 team was the second best team all time behind 2020 Alabama. Shame on you. It's clickbait. We know it's clickbait. 2019 LSU is the greatest football team ever assembled in college football. No questions. I'm not even going to argue that. All right, so the offensive line from left to right, we're going left tackle 2014 Vidal Alexander. Left guard is going to be 2003 Steven Peterson. Center is going to be 2016 Ethan Posick. Right guard, the largest baby ever born in the state of Louisiana, still maybe to this day, 2008 Herman Johnson. And then my right tackle is going to be 2023 Emory Jones. So just to recap for the second team, quarterback is Jaden Daniels, running back is Jeremy Hill, wide receiver Josh Reed, wide receiver Odell Beckham, wide receiver Jarvis Landry, tight end Thaddeus Moss, left tackle Vidal Alexander, left guard Steven Peterson, center 2016 Ethan Posick, right guard 2008 Herman Johnson, and right tackle 2023 Emory Jones. All right, so the first team. Again, this was not easy, especially with the skill positions. This was not easy. Some guys had to get left off, but this Tiger team, this would be my 11 that I would run out on the field from 2000 up to 2025. Quarterback, obviously, Joe Burrow, 2019, Joe Burrow. Listen to these stats. 402 of 527 for 76.3 completion percentages, 5,671 yards, 60 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, a 202 QBR, 368 rushing yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's 6,000 yards of total offense and 65 touchdowns. That season will never be replicated ever again. Don't let anybody tell you that anybody had a better season than 2019 Joe Burrow. The statistics say you are not telling the truth. Okay? That was obvious there. You forget that Joe had almost 400 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. All right, running back, Booger Nation, 2015 Leonard Fournette, who should have won the Heisman that year if it wasn't for Les Miles just not having anything else other than just handing him the ball and being a battering ram. That was one of the games I turned off that year, that Alabama game. I turned it off. One of the only times I turned off a Tiger football game. It was just so embarrassing. But 2015, Leonard Fournette, Booger Nation, 271 rushes for 1,953 yards and 22 touchdowns. And he also added 209 yards and a touchdown receiving. So over 2,000 yards, all-purpose yards, and a touchdown. And he was on kick return there. I didn't even get any of his return stats. But I'm sure it's gaudy. He almost had 2,000 yards rushing. He was the Heisman front runner for a majority of that season until they got to the back half and ran into Alabama and just kind of ran down here from there. All right, my first wide receiver up, one of my favorite LSU players of all time, 2019 Jamar Chase, who was the Biletnikoff Award winner that year. Jamar had 84 receptions, 1,780 yards, and 20 touchdowns. Just an amazing season. 20 touchdowns is insane. just insane, magical season. I can remember watching the Clemson game and saying that Clemson is messing up, putting A.J. Terrell on him because he cannot guard Jamar one-on-one, and he couldn't. And I remember the Bama game when they wanted to put Trayvon Diggs on him, and I said he can't guard him. Jamar Chase is unguardable one-on-one, and he started to show us that season how amazing that he could be. Just a classic LSU wide receiver year. His partner in crime, y'all know who I was going to have next. 2019, Justin Jefferson, who had 111 receptions for 1,540 yards and 19 touchdowns. When the second receiver on your team can have 111 receptions, 1,500 yards, and 19 touchdowns, come on, guys. We're never going to see anything else like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase on the same team. Arguably the top two wide receivers in the NFL right now on the same team at the same time in college. And Justin was the number 2 guy. Crazy. You know that season was magical. I don't even have to explain to you. You know it. All right. I really struggled, though, with Justin versus Josh Reed. And the only reason I say that is because Josh Reed was first-team All-American, and he won the Biletnikoff that year, okay? My wide receiver 3 was Malik Neighbors. He should have won the Biletnikoff in 2023 over Marvin Harrison Jr. Such a robbery by the voters of not giving him his crown of being the best wide receiver in the country in 2023. He was easily the best. He had 89 receptions for 1,569 yards, 14 touchdowns. Should have won a Biletnikoff Award, was a All-American. Tight end 1 is going to be 2024 Mason Taylor. Best tight end season in LSU history. 55 receptions for 546 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mason was so crucial to that 2024 team. We saw how awesome he was after he left. You know, he's gone to the pros now, gone to the league now. He was such a great blocker. He was so dependable. I mean, he was just always in the right place. A lot of big catches, a lot of third down catches, a lot of fourth down catches, a lot of blocks, a lot of seals on the edge to open up holes for the running back. Mason Taylor was a phenomenal tight end. And then the offensive line, just studs from left to right on his first team. 2024, Will Campbell, who was an All-American, consensus on everything. 2014, La'el Collins. Man, how great La'el Collins. I mean, the stuff that happened to him before his draft that tanked his stock, he would have definitely been a first-round pick. He was that doggone good. And he played guard and tackle. I'm cheating here. I'm going to put him at left guard, okay? 2004, Ben Wilkerson is going to be my center. Huge part of that national championship team of 2003. Won all the awards, won the Remington Award in 2004, was an All-American and All-SEC in 2004. All right, right guard is going to be 2011, Will Blackwell. I forgot how good Will Blackwell was until I did some research on this episode. Will Blackwell was phenomenal that 2011 season, just a stalwart, a stud, opening up massive holes for all those running backs that we had in 2011. And then right tackle, a Hall of Famer, 2005, Andrew Whitworth, who was amazing. Another crucial cog to that 2003 national championship team. Went on to be a Hall of Famer in the NFL. We know how great Andrew Whitworth was. I could have put him at left tackle. I could have put Will at right tackle. But I just think Will's 2024 season was maybe better than his 2005 season from all the metrics and awards. So that's why I put Will at left tackle. I know Andrew's a left tackle, but I put him at right tackle for the sake of the game. All right, so there we go. Run down that LSU first team again. 2019, Joe Burrow is the quarterback. 2015, Leonard Fournette is the running back. The wide receivers of 2019, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, along with 2023, Malik Neighbors. Tight end is 2024, Mason Taylor. Left tackle, 2024, Will Campbell. Left guard, 2014, Lyle Collins. Center, 2004, Ben Wilkerson. Right guard, 2011, Will Blackwell. And right tackle, 2005, Andrew Whitworth. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me with the podcast today. This was a fun one. Not a lot of news and everything to cover. I'll maybe go live or drop another podcast later in the week. Just kind of talk about all the quarterback dominoes that are starting to come out. And I know LSU, like I said, they're going to be aggressive on all these guys. So that is coming. But this was just a fun kind of off the beaten path episode. Let me know what you guys think. Who did I miss? Who did I have too high? Who did I not have on the list? What would you have done? Let me know. Just maybe a few suggestions down in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you go and everybody during the holidays that you see, grab their phone and make sure you hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, guys. The channel is starting to grow. I'm thankful. I'm appreciative. But make sure you don't miss out because we're about to go all the way to the top because we love purple. But it's all go ahead to Gold Standard Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, have a phenomenal evening. Peace out and play next.